this word when I get to it. Do you see what our guest is? An American
ufologist.
Ufologist?
Nope. It's a
ufologist. And retired traumatologist. He's gonna help us. Retired traumatologist who founded the Center for the Study of Extraterrestrial Intelligence and the Disclosure Project, which seeks the disclosure of allegedly classified secret UFO information. I'm reading off of Wikipedia. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Dr. Greer.
Yes.
Thank you, Wikipedia.
Yes.
Shout out Wikipedia.
Never ceases to amaze.
How you doing, man?
Good. How are you?
Good. I had a whole bio here for it. Well, really, there's a lot of stuff online regarding you. Do you know that?
Who cares?
You're right. That's what I say. No, that's my motto as well.
Answer.
How do you pronounce that word?
Which one?
Ufologist.
It's a fake word.
Really?
I never refer to myself that way.
Really?
I'm an emergency doctor, and I run a big research project on this stuff. Began briefing the CIA director for Bill Clinton in 1993.
So when you say that you're actually briefing
face-to-face meetings with folks like that
about aliens.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, all right.
Wow.
Let's.
So that
okay.
actually-
no, cut this shit.
That's a big
Dr.
deal.
Greer, where are the aliens?
Yeah, where are they at?
Where are they? Which ones?
No,
God.
don't do me like that.
God dang.
Okay.
It.
Well, I mean, there are ones that we have captured that through electronic warfare systems that have been down.
This is gonna get crazy. I don't know if I'm ready to go here for this podcast. All right, first, can we give your credentials before we just dive into talking about UFOs and aliens?
Also, Dr. Greer, the mic is your friend. You love that.
Yeah, I
thing.
hear it. Yeah, I hear it. I hear
There
you.
you go. There you go.
Okay, so cool. So, all right, so I mean, who are you?
I'm an emergency doctor, ER. I like to show ER, which I've never seen. But
George
Wait, you're
Clooney.
still to this day?
yeah, I still stay credentialed. I'm not practicing the ER. I'm working on this problem full time.
Okay.
Which is the biggest national security issue we've ever had.
Which is what exactly?
Well, there are classified programs that are called unacknowledged special access projects. You can go to Netflix and see the movie Unacknowledged. And that's what it deals with. And those projects are so top secret that routinely the president and people like that get denied access.
Wow.
I discovered that 20 some years ago. So I started a project to identify top secret guys who had the guts to come forward with this information. So we started the Disclosure Project in the 90s. And I now have about 975 of these men and women who've been in classified projects who are on my team. About 110 have come public. Okay. You know, a whole bunch of them are on our YouTube site, youtube.com/sdisclosure.
Always plug.
Yep.
Yep.
Well, I mean, if people want to see it, it's there.
I'm just happy
not
who
hiding
plugging
anything.
was. That's incredible.
For sure.
So you have 975 what we would call either assets or sources. is
Yeah,
what you're
assets
saying.
who are,
Okay,
you know,
Or
like
would you call them,
whistleblowers.
or they-
would you call them
whistleblowers.
snitches? Are they
Oh,
snitches?
wow.
You know,
No.
I mean, I'll just say it. Like,
Nice, wow.
is the U.S. government trying to kill them for revealing top secret classified information?
Are they going to go the same way as 6ix9ine is what he's asking.
They would have at one time, like in the 90s.
Okay, but now they're safe?
In the 90s, I had 3 people on my team killed, and that's true. I'm not making it up. But you know, at this point, we're not worried about that. There are a lot of folks who really love what we're doing, and it's gotten very public. You know, we've had several 100 million people see this documentary, Unacknowledged, which itself gives you a zone of protection because you're too well known to just be made go and disappear. But most of these people have been in classified projects, and you know, some are corporate, some are CIA, some are Department of Defense, different military.
Laboratories,
My
contractors,
question is-
that kind of
Laboratories,
stuff.
White Oaks. Everyone, White Oak Naval Labs
White Oak.
is a really big one that closed down. That had a lot of
What
these.
about Los
technologies.
Alamos? Anything good going on there? Or no. Is
Yep,
that pretty,
it has a compartment. So here's a 101 lesson on classified projects. It doesn't really matter if you have a top secret clearance. It's what compartment you're read into or briefed in. Read into is the proper military
Got it,
term.
okay.
Okay. But you know, so you may have a top secret clearance and you may be the director of the CIA, but if they don't want you to know what's going on in a USAP, an unacknowledged special access project, the unacknowledged ones are the most tightly held ones, and they're actually illegal. So there's a constitutional attorney I'm working with, 2, in fact, Danny Sheehan, who did the Pentagon Papers, and Iran Contra and all that. He's on my team, and another guy named Larry Clayton, who is the other side, more conservative. And we're, looking at the legalities of this. So in the late 90s, I wrote to every agency in the government and said, look, we have hundreds of these guys coming forward. I did a briefing for the president and CIA director back then, Clinton, and his first CIA director, R. James Woolsey, and then started doing briefings for people like General Hughes, who was the head of the Defense Intelligence Agency, and Admiral Wilson, who was the head of the J2, head of Intelligence Joint Staff. All those people had been denied access to these projects illegally. So I said, well, guess what? Since these projects are illegal, you can't enforce their non-disclosure agreements and their national security oaths. So we're vitiating them. We're nullifying them. Bye. Screw you. So I wrote a letter that's basically said, you have to contact us within 30 days or we're going to start releasing those documents and the testimony of these whistleblowers. So we started doing that. Man, that project started in 2001. About 800 million people saw the National Press Club event that we did. The agency contacted a lot of major media and ordered it taken down. But before they could, about 800 million people saw it. So that's what I'm working on. Now people say, why would you bother? Guess what? You ever heard of something called, like climate change and pollution? And
Spencer knows all
world
about
poverty.
Spencer's a big climate changer. And also Jordan Belfort doesn't believe any of that.
Yeah. So, but the fact is the technologies that are behind, a UFO, there's this, forget the word UFO. It's an alternative energy and propulsion device. Some are interstellar and some are man-made. Lockheed Skunk Works out here in California. Northrop Grumman. Huge program. Yeah. I know.
Responsible for the stealth fighter. A lot of that.
Yeah. Well, so what we decided to do is move this stuff forward with the objective of educating the public on the issue, but also getting these technologies known about and at some point put into place because, our civilization's going to hell in a handbasket real fast, frankly. But these sciences and technologies that had been ruthlessly classified and lethal force has been used to keep it that way, those technologies would completely reverse that because you're dealing with sciences. I don't want to bore people with a lot of physics and blah, blah, and blah-diddy, blah, blah. Yeah. But imagine, the amount of space in a glass like this. There's enough potential energy in the fabric of space-time called the zero-point energy field to run the entire planet.
Is that like dark matter?
Well, no.
Or completely different.
It's not.
I've messed up.
But what I'm saying is that's what these things. These things that are going through interstellar space, they're not carrying Exxon Jet A fuel or a rocket with fuel. They're pulling energy out of the fabric of space time, and they're getting their propulsion and their ability to move that way. So that's been studied since the 40s, frankly.
Oh shit.
And those my uncle worked on the lunar. We just had the 50th anniversary.
How's he doing? How's he doing, by the way?
My uncle's on the other side.
That's
gone.
Okay.
Yeah, he passed away.
Sorry about that.
He died 2 weeks after Neil Armstrong, who was the first man to work.
When was that?
Wow.
So a few years ago. I can't remember the year that he passed away, but he was like 92, had a great life. He encouraged me to do what I'm doing. He was an aerospace engineer at Northrop Grumman, which is like the second biggest aerospace contracting company for the U.S. government. So, here I am. I left my medical career to try to fix this problem. It's an existential question for the planet.
You worked with Clinton. He was the most recent president to have a fascination with UFOs. And he visited Area 51, correct?
All of them would like to have gone there. Look, Area 51 is just a grid on a map. They're really hot. Okay, all the people signed the petition.
Yeah, let's talk about this.
Here we are.
Here we go. Let's go.
You want some actionable intelligence instead of nonsense?
Let's get into it.
Please, spill the beans.
So the area at Pahoot Mesa and Groom Lake out there, and S4, S2, S9, and S12. Okay. So, but the places that deal with this issue are deep underground. They're hardened, which means you could drop a tactical nuclear weapon on them. You won't reach the door. Yeah. Yes, correct. Damn. I've been out there, and I have people who worked in those facilities. So, the idea that you're going to, march in there and grab this stuff out is like.
So what you're saying is, yes, they can stop them all. Is what you're saying, because their big thing is they can't stop us all. In fact, they can't. Is what you're saying. So these guys are bunker buster. Like, there's no issues with bunker busters. No issues with what's another Moabs, multi-ordnance air blast.
They do it covertly and through disinformation, false information.
Who's running? What organization is running the show then?
It's called the Majority Intelligence Committee. I have a document. It's on our website from the National Reconnaissance Office. It runs all the super secret spy satellites.
So this is like
how did you, as a traumatologist, how do you have the wherewithal and resources and access to find 985 people who worked in top secret classified facilities? And why would they listen to you as their God and almighty leader of the Disclosure Project?
Well, I don't know that I'm that at all, but they understand what our purpose is. And it's people who find me. I don't find them.
How'd you get started? I guess I'm
Well, it's
asking.
a very good question. The way I got started, we're working on a documentary right now.
I saw it. You guys are shooting on an iPhone.
No, that's not what it's going to be. That's just for me walking around.
Okay.
No, it's a good camera shoot. But it's going to, if you go to ce5film.com, you're going to see what we're doing. And it's about humans initiating contact with these civilizations, bypassing the government. All right. Wow. So I started a project in 1990 before anyone in this room was alive.
All right, easy.
And sorry.
Easy.
And
okay.
Yeah, easy,
I was 5 years old. I just started T-ball.
Hey,
okay?
good for you.
Great fucking
Excellent
T-ball career.
Yeah. Yeah, because that was the first thing you said. You're like, I said, where are the aliens? You said, which ones?
Yep.
What are you talking about?
I'm sure there's several thousand species. Now, I know that there's a facility out in the desert near Tombstone, Arizona, called Fort Huachuca. It's Army Intelligence Headquarters. I've been out there. I've known a couple of the heads of Army Intelligence, and there's a dome out there, deep underground military base, that has 9 ET craft and autopsied bodies. I knew guys who worked in that facility. 9 different craft, and they're from different civilizations. So, there are all these stereotypes of this. It's like the big bug-eyed thing. But that's not what it is. That's just all the caricatures that
Media
idiots put out. Media, the mass media put out to sort of ridicule it. But when to get back to your question, when I started this project in 1990, it was really for people to do what's called close encounters of the fifth kind, which is when humans initiate the contact. And within a couple years, we had 4 of these ET craft pop in near Pensacola, and it was on the front page of the paper.
Why would anyone go to
it's like knock, knock. Well, there was a whole lot of activity there that was being documented. So my team, let's get to, if you want to talk some real shit.
So once we started creting nuclear weapons, that's when they started showing up, right? They're like, yo, you guys are idiots.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, because we were they were looking at us as a real problem at that point.
They're like, y'all are idiots.
Yeah.
Y'all
everyone's always afraid of the aliens. I said, no, it's the other way around. We're a bunch of rampaging monkeys with thermonuclear weapons, thousands of them aimed at each other, and then going out into space with them. Hello. I mean, it doesn't take Einstein's IQ even to figure out that problem.
So there's a bunch of stories of UFOs. I don't know if you guys have seen this. There's UFOs that will like missiles are about to get launched and then all the systems will just go down.
That's in our Disclosure Project archive. That we
there's a lot of these kind of stories.
The ICBMs at Minot, North Dakota, there were 18 intercontinental ballistic missiles went offline at the same time. Really cool. And what they were saying, they weren't a threat. They were saying, look, don't blow up this beautiful planet, but if you do a mutual assured destruction all-out launch, we can take a lot of them offline so the Earth isn't destroyed. That's why they're here. Wow. They're here to sort of be a check to the madness of what's been going on for 70 years on this planet.
What?
There have been CIA directors who know. For example, Papa Bush, Senior.
Yeah, GW.
Okay. W's father, who just passed away, he was on that committee. And when he was CIA director, very interesting story. We have people who worked with Carter the first year he became president. And Carter turned to outgoing CIA director Bush, the senior, and said, I want to be briefed on the UFO matter, because he had seen one near Fort Benning when he was governor of Georgia. I have his report for him from President Carter. And Bush turned to him and said, I'm not going to tell you anything. Go get it from the Congressional Research Service, and blew him off. This is the incoming president of the United States. That is a true story. We have multiple people who are involved with that are in our Disclosure Project with their testimony, including. So people say, well, why did that CI director know and others haven't? I said, has nothing to do with your rank. It has to do with whether they turn to you and say, are you willing to go along with a project that is being run this way, which is illegal, and to keep away from the public this information, and to keep secret the technologies that would terminate oil, gas, coal, and nuclear power? Zing. It's a multi-$100 trillion issue. I mean, there's secrecy behind this. It has nothing to do with aliens. It has everything to do with the petrodollar and $1,000 trillion in assets that would go goodbye, because these things, I get back to what we said a few minutes ago, these objects aren't running on fossil fuels or nuclear power.
Is this an Illuminati? Does Illuminati exist?
Well, yeah, I mean, there are groups and little clubs of 33rd degree Masons. I'm friends with some. Burl Ives, who was an actor and singer, was on. He was a 33rd degree Mason. He didn't know anything about this stuff. I was the source for stuff for him.
Does this clearance that you talk about exist completely outside of what are the three clearance levels? Just what is it? SQ and L clearance? Like, is it completely outside of top secret? You know,
well, there are only three. There's confidential, secret, and top secret. And then in top secret, you have SCI, special compartmented information. And then from those special access projects, there are zillions of them. And the ones that are really sensitive are the unacknowledged special access projects that have cover under other special access projects. It's like the middle of a stinking onion. It's like covered and covered and covered. It's deep in there. So the fact that, you know, someone may be read into one special access project that's top secret by no means, and they'll get into another. In fact, even if you're in one unacknowledged special access project, it doesn't give you clearance to another one. So I've met one person who's on my team who had baseline clearance across 18 of these unacknowledged special access projects, and he just came forward about a year ago.
And
massive.
He was what'd you find out?
It's mind-blowing stuff.
Like,
well, he was assigned to the TMO, which is the Technology Management Office, sub-basement of the Pentagon. And he was tasked with, for example, there was a security breach at an underground facility near Fort Sill, Lawton, Oklahoma, where there's an extraterrestrial vehicle that we're studying that we had downed with an electronic weapon back in the 80s. We're trying to figure out how these things sort of, quote, cloak, where they can materialize, dematerialize right in front of you, which my team that goes out has seen this. So I have photos of it. So cool. You know, amazing.
Can we see some photos?
Well, I mean, go to our website. You know, I don't have
photos of...
I didn't bring a photo file with me.
What's the site?
What's your website?
SeriousDisclosure.com.
It's on a shirt.
Yeah.
It's on a shirt.
Oh, it's this. Yeah. There we go.
Have we put cloaking technology? So cloaking technology, for people watching, what that means is they're able to materialize the environment around them, correct? To blend in with what's happening around them, right? So they could look like the sky, the tree, whatever, right? Is that what cloaking technology is?
Well, it's actually a little more complex than that.
Okay.
It's actually a very high energy physics where electromagnetic shift happens, meaning that, not shift, S-H-I-F-T.
Night shift.
Shit happens too.
Yeah.
Where these objects, let's say you put an electromagnetic field around this glass, and it can actually resonantly shift out of 3D into a nearby dimension. So it's actually right there, but it's outside the physical 3D realm. So this gets into what are known as transdimensional.
Camouflage.
No, it's not camouflage.
Okay.
No.
So I was way off.
You're way off. Yeah.
You're saying that so this alien technology cloaking is actually a unit moving between dimensions to camouflage itself.
Hey, look, you're not going to go from one star system to another in a solid form. You're going to have to shift
turn into Jello. Like
you're going to turn into something that approximates a ghost. You know, it's not a ghost, but it approximates a ghost.
I think it's interesting because
you want to hear the technology part of this? Your minds are going to melt and come out of your nose.
I want my mind to melt and come out of my nose.
It's like, that's what I was going to say.
Go.
So that's what we're dealing. Actually, this next film, the CE5film.com that we're working on, it's crowdfunded, by the way. All these documentaries are done, no corporations, no big money. It's all the people. We have 5,000 people that for unacknowledged who donated funds. We're doing everything independently, maintaining control of it that way. No corporate shill can go in and say, take this out. We'll say, nope.
We're not taking anything out. Are you homies with Bob Lazar?
How do you feel about Bob Lazar?
Bobby, we call him Bobby L.
I met him years ago in the 90s. He saw something. I don't think his physics are spot on. However, he said the
UFOs fly belly up. Sounds a little weird to me, man.
No, belly.
No, on the side.
Belly. That's what I mean.
Forward.
Like belly forward. Yeah.
They can. They don't have to. They don't have to.
Hip forward.
They can move in any angle. They control for 1G, one gravity force in any angle.
How do you know that?
Because I work with hundreds of people who have this down to the equations.
Have they seen?
Here's the tragedy. if these technologies could begin to come forward, we'd have a civilization with no poverty or pollution or global warming very quickly. But think of the stakeholders. Every public utility, I don't need you. All the oil and gas, all the nuclear, all that stuff. Well, even that stuff, we think, oh wow, it's a radio frequency which we had in the 1800s, right?
Yeah.
Your smartphone, iPhone, whatever. It's really a piece of junk. All right. So the technologies that are really advanced have been all classified, and I call this the lost century. There's 100 years of development of our civilization that's been stolen from us.
Have any members of your team seen the aliens?
Oh yeah.
What do they look like? What do they look like?
So, I don't know if someone on my team has this cool picture of this ET that popped we were doing a CE5, which is when we initiate contact a couple years ago in Arizona.
Which is this video right here, correct?
And some of these are,
the top one,
kinds of cool
the small
stuff.
one up at
Go
top.
back to the little bean. Oh, this was in Joshua Tree. We're going to go back there in October. You should come. You'd love it.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Have you seen this? This is crazy. They meditate or do something, and these.
It's called remote viewing.
Remote viewing, right.
The military, CIA had a program for, still has a program.
This is when you initiate contact.
Yeah.
Should I skip ahead or is this, whoa, what's happening?
I don't know. There may be another object here. But
and so what do y'all do?
Look at this cool thing. There are two. This is like late at night. We have a special camera, and there are two objects that come in off the coast of Florida that are there.
I've seen some things at Joshua Tree as well.
Yeah, it's cool out there. Beautiful.
Well, but I saw some UFOs that night.
Yeah, I'm
completely
sure.
unidentifiable.
Yeah, I'm sure of that.
Absolutely
Yeah.
crazy.
So wait, so y'all, what do you do to initiate contact to get these lights to show up and be lights?
Well, you're not going to like the answer.
Oh shit.
We got to sacrifice one of our pets.
I know something's going up in Orpheus.
Should I?
Yeah, do we? That's exactly what I was thinking.
Well, that's what this next documentary is all about. And
I hope it's not what he just said.
No. It's about the science of consciousness.
Oh, okay,
so
perfect.
think about it. All of us are awake, and the physicists have figured out that even though our individualities are different, that the field of consciousness is a singularity. That is the singularity everyone's looking for in AI. So this has been known for years and years and years in classified projects, and that's why the CIA had a big program using consciousness to spy on the Soviet Union, sort of like, psychic spies. But what we're doing is that we're using consciousness and in the meditative state to remote view where these ET objects are, and then make contact with them and show them where we are mentally, and then with lasers and electromagnetic signals.
See, this is where I start.
No, yeah,
this is
you
where
lost
I
me.
start.
There's a lot of documents that have been disclosed
sure, but
about
there's
people
documents about the flat Earth.
who remote view
No,
very,
not flat
very
Earth.
specific buildings, structures, everything, numbers, people in rooms from across the planet.
No, there's no
the
question.
military's been
you
studying
can
this
do
for a
that.
long time.
Well, Stanford Research International, SRI, had a huge program for years doing this, and the scientific studies are dispositive. They prove this. The question is, let's back this up. Even the mainstream media is admitting now these UFOs are real. Our military's been encountering them. How do you think they're communicating from, say, the Andromeda Galaxy, which is 2.5 million light years from here, and Earth? At the speed of your cell phone, that's 2.5 million years to get a signal there, 2.5 million years back.
I think
it's
that's
too damn slow.
I think that's what's
so it's too slow. So you're dealing with sciences and technologies that are interfacing with other fields of not only energy but thought. So these civilizations think to their device, and it does something.
I knew
they
it.
think to their console, and the spacecraft goes boing boing to one point to another.
What's that thing called? The neural? Wait, what's
Neuralink?
Yeah, Neuralink.
Yeah, everyone on this planet who are high tech are trying to go there, and there's some great work. If you look at Dr. Radin's work, name of this particular species.
So you got the Nordics, the Greys, the reptilians, and
It's all fake.
That's Alex Jones shit, man.
That's all nonsense. Look, I mean, anyone who
Oh wow.
This is the
isn't
picture.
it beautiful.
So were you guys outside by like a fire, like a campfire?
No. We were out in a very darkened area up at about 5,000 feet in Arizona, and
Up by Flagstaff?
no, the other way south, outside Tucson, up on a mountain.
Okay.
And,
Where's the person on the left? Is this?
he's the guy who had his hearing.
Is he seated though?
He's sitting. The ET was standing. Up,
Is that his
maybe
arm right there?
Yeah,
The
and
black
you see that
space?
it looks like a tunic draped there, and then his head is partially in that pixelated area.
Can you zoom in?
So and yeah, you can see the eye on the left.
Shit. Now I
Yeah, and
see
you
it.
see it's almost like a beak on the front.
Yes.
This is an actual unretouched photograph. So,
Wow.
we have a lot of objects like this, and people think, oh, is this really happening? There's a group of people already making contact with you. I said, well, yeah, why not?
So he did surgery on him, right? Kind of in a way,
I think it
non-invasive
was,
surgery.
what people today would call it would be electromagnetic energy surgery. In
Wow.
other words, it wasn't anything invasive. But he had a hearing loss since he was a teenage.
So if
like middle
we
school.
got access to this technology, would we
beautiful
cure?
story.
Would we cure every disease? Would we cure
Yes.
sickness?
Yes.
We would
Yes.
cure
Say you think
bad
that looks
genetics.
Yes.
You've affected me.
Hey, it's time for the truth out. Yeah.
You know what I especially like that you've said today?
What?
The consciousness note.
Yeah. You're not like a crazy conspiracy theorist that's like freaking people out. You
Well,
you got
why?
you got an actionable solution.
Yeah,
I respect
but
that.
we have other responsibilities besides the shock and awe and drivel. That's 99.9% of the subject.
What is the most dangerous information that you know?
Oh boy. Well, I'll tell you what I told the director of the Defense Intelligence Agency in his office. And
One
it's
and the
General
same.
Patrick Hughes.
Me and that guy.
Pretend that you're him.
Okay.
The first question he asked me was, "We don't understand why you haven't committed suicide yet." To me, and I said, "Well, because I don't need to do that." Because his father had, knowing what I'm about to tell you, and that is that there's a group of people who control this issue that are trying to sort of agent provocateur, to provoke an interplanetary incident. So the next war, World War III, will be interplanetary. And there is a serious group of nut jobs, and they have to be put on a leash and stood down fast and quickly. And the trigger, when unacknowledged, hit hundreds of millions of people seeing it. This group started releasing stuff to the CNN and Washington Post and New York Times under cover of a group that from a boy that I used to teach on this named Tom DeLong, the Blink-182 guy.
Oh yeah, he's huge on the
okay. But what happened is that his interest got hijacked by militarists whose every bit of information they're putting out has to spin, it's a threat to the national security, our sovereignty has been invaded. It's the kind of brainwashing that's already started to try to convince the public there is an alien threat. Werner von Braun, who invented the rocket for Adolf Hitler, on his deathbed, he said to a member of my team who is his right-hand assistant and spokesperson for the last few years of his life, said, they're going to hoax an alien threat, I'm quoting, and it's all a lie. So we are actually in the last year at the point where they've started on that plan.
Well,
and that's why we're doing this next documentary.
Is that through movies?
We have got to intercept this plan and stop it. Or if you think 9/11 and the Iraq War was a clusterfuck, this is going to be that 1,000 times worse. So, and I'm telling you, I'm not trying to scare people, but the future, what we're going to do and have on this planet is hanging in the balance, and we're going to have to wake up.
Was that like that
quickly.
Was that H.G. Wells?
Yeah, the War of the Worlds
was
nonsense.
that similar?
Oh
was that like kind of in that vein?
And like
It's more like, you ever see the movie Independence Day? Of
course.
That was right out of central scripting from the CIA, because, let's unite the world around an alien threat. Go Google Ronald Reagan's address to the United Nations when he said, and I'm paraphrasing, he said, wouldn't our job of creating a world peace and unity be easier if we had a common alien threat to unite against?
He said that?
Yes, Reagan. It's in the unacknowledged documentary.
Well,
Everyone go
good.
see it. If you don't have Netflix, it's on iTunes. It's everywhere. So my point is that mindset is what's been driving this train for 70 years. And if somebody else doesn't step up, and not me, I'm getting old. I just turned 64. So it's like, my days are numbered, tick-tock, a countdown. But we're going to have a whole lot of people step forward and fix this problem. Oh, Ronald Reagan. Yeah, they are no threat. But I'll tell you, it's going to be spun by the people who are what Eisenhower called the military-industrial complex.
Yep,
look, there's trillions of dollars at stake in terms of keeping it secret from the point of view of energy, petrodollar, and what have you. There's more trillions at stake in terms of military spending to gin up a threat.
All for
and
power.
I'm all look. My closest
Power.
friends who have helped me with this project are all career military and CIA people, but they're deeply worried about this seriously, and that's what keeps them awake at night, and that's what keeps me awake at night.
So, what do you mean by interplanetary warfare, and who are the people that are in this secret group?
You want some names?
Yes, Alex Jones.
Okay. Well,
It's the 5th time I said that.
Historically, I mentioned Papa Bush was on this committee. Dick Cheney is on this committee.
Halburn.
Former CIA director Dick Helms, very involved in the good old days. One of the few billionaires in the world at the end of World War II who was an avowed fascist until the end of the war is Paul Mellon.
Yeah.
And then he, with Alan Dulles, founded this committee and the CIA. And so those folks have been involved and their families and connections. Crown jewels of the contracting that does all the man-made UFOs. By the way, a lot of the things you see out there, they're ours. They're EMGs, electromagnetic craft, that are man-made, top-secret craft that are based on having studied not only ET craft, but the early work of some of the geniuses like T. Townsend Brown, who the RAND think tank was founded on. He in 1928 or 9, he had a high voltage system around a crystalline structure, and the thing started levitating. And that's in the 20s. So there's some cool technology. Maybe that'll be the next documentary, The Lost Century. Yeah. All the technologies that have existed since Tesla. By the way, the Tesla you're buying, it's a Musk. It's not a Tesla. A Tesla would never have to be plugged in. It'd be pulling energy from the energy field around it. Yeah. Yeah. Well, we hope to come out with a real Tesla.
So what about...
It's a Musk. It's fine. It's cool. It's fun.
Well, yeah, when he died, they raided all of his
shit.
Yeah.
I have that document.
Laboratories.
I have the document. So the Department of Defense was furious because the FBI went in and took Nikola Tesla's secret papers when he died. And I have a document where the Department of Defense is demanding that the FBI and J. Edgar Hoover turn that stuff over. And basically, the FBI said, screw you. We're not giving you anything. So there's a bunch of fiefdoms out there also. Don't think that this is some kind of coherent.
We deal with that too with like different fandoms.
Yeah.
So, but also,
does
like,
anyone have YouTube? Just go to our channel. We've got like 70 of these top secret guys' testimony up there.
I want to go check that out.
Okay. It's youtube.com/S disclosure. S like Steve, disclosure. And it's there. So, I mean,